Let's start by comparing the pricing of these different platforms. Now, they're all priced fairly similarly in that they all have a scaling pricing based on the number of subscribers that you have. That's pretty much typical for any email marketing platform that you'll find. For our comparison, I'm going to use 10,000 contacts because that's really where these pricing plans show their true colors. In these lower ranges, quite often you'll find that they have really cheap pricing, and that's to hook you into their system. And then as soon as you get up to a decent email list, the pricing jumps up. And so I think about 10,000 contacts is about the sweet spot to compare pricing at. So here we've got GetResponse. Now they do have some decent discounts when you're buying on a yearly or 2-yearly plan. The reason why they discount these is because most people change email marketing platforms every 6 to 12 months. And the reason for that is they'll notice that they get a drop off in open rates and they think it's the email marketing platform that they're using, and that's the cause of their low open rates. It's really their list and how they're emailing their list that is creating those low open rates. But if they move to a new email marketing platform, they get a fresh IP and they'll get a initial boost to their open rates. And so they'll think that new IP is amazing. And then in 6 months' time, they think that new email sender is terrible and they move to another one. So that most businesses do that rinse and repeat, or any business that's serious about email marketing does. However, you shouldn't do it, and it's not the best way. I cover that later on in this video. So that's why they have these generous discounts for 12 and 24 months, because they know that most people move within 6 to 12 months. Let's start off here. And for our comparison, we're just going to look at email marketing. Forget using these platforms for marketing automation. Forget that they have landing pages. They're all terrible. Forget that they do webinars. It's terrible. Forget that they do forms. They're all terrible. Forget contact scoring, sales funnels, CRMs. All that stuff is complete rubbish with these platforms. They are not good at doing any of those things. They add them in as like a feature comparison, look at all our bells and whistles that you can do, pump their prices up. And to be honest, all that stuff that they have in here, doesn't matter what platform, whether it's ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, Drip, MailChimp, any of those, they all have this same bells and whistles and they're all rubbish. Just focus on the email marketing. That's what you're paying them for. That's all you should be paying them for. Forget everything else. And if you're wanting something to do webinars, well, choose an app that does webinars. Don't choose an app that does email marketing to do your webinars. Don't choose an app that does email marketing to build your landing pages. It doesn't make any sense. They should be good at email marketing, and that's it. Let's compare the email marketing plan. Now, this one here is $79 a month, 10,000 contacts. It does have unlimited newsletters. It allows autoresponders. Like I said, forget the landing page stuff. And the sign-up forms, pop-ups, forget all that. Let's have a look, see if they've got a features table. Here we are. Quite often they'll try and hide this features table because they're trying to hide what's actually included. Monthly email sends unlimited, great. Newsletters, they're one-off emails that we're sending, that's good. AI email generator, I mean, you can do that with ChatGPT for free now, so that's not really a selling point. Visual email editor, every email platform comes with that. Custom DKIM, every platform comes with that these days. Inbox preview, pretty useless. Perfect timing, you can do that yourself for free using just looking at your Google Analytics. I'll show you that later. Time travel, I guess that's to perfect the timing based on the region, the geo region of the contact. Most businesses don't need that unless you're a worldwide business. Even then, unless you've got a huge list with UK, US, Australia, or something like that, and you've got like a 30% split per country, you don't really need this sort of time travel feature. And you can always do that based on a segmentation of your list on one of these lower plans. RSS to email, you don't need that. Trying to do an RSS feed from your blog to automatically send an email, not a good idea because it's just going to send a clunky 90s looking email. Click tracking, that should come with everything. Every plan level. Google Analytics should be by default. And then the rest of these you can pretty much just ignore. Now, when we come down to automation templates, birthday emails, What we're really looking for is automatic drip campaigns. Now, if you want automated drip campaigns, that's essentially we send in a tag or we send in some sort of trigger to the system, and then we trigger an automation to run that's custom. Here, you only get that on the 114, the marketing automation level. You don't get that on the $79 level. The email marketing level is only good for sending out a newsletter. And that's an email that you're setting up every single time, and then you're sending that out to your list. Event-based automation, they don't include that here. You have to be on this market. So their pricing, $114 a month for 10,000 contacts. And the rest of this, SMS, I wouldn't send SMS with an email marketing platform. Send out a webhook to Make, and then send the SMS with your SMS system. Don't use their built-in SMS systems. Split automation, that's good. That's just some standard automation logic. Autoresponders, you can pretty much ignore that. A lot of the time in these features lists, they just kind of bulk them up with useless information. Number of users, 3. Okay, you can just share your user account with 1. Roles management, don't really need that. Support, you can forget all that sort of rubbish. Most of the support in these platforms are pretty terrible. List management, yeah, you'll want to be able to import and export lists, so that's pretty good. Scoring, you can just do scoring with Make, build your own scoring system. Tagging, you should be able to do tagging on every level. Segmentation, you should be able to segment with everything. So you definitely need the marketing level for GetResponse to do any sort of serious email marketing. Web building, we can skip all that. Landing pages, skip that. E-commerce, we can skip that. If you want to do email marketing for e-commerce, I highly recommend using Klaviyo. There's no comparison. That's the best email marketing platform for e-commerce. Stop the video right now, just sign up for Klaviyo. Done. Don't try to do email marketing for e-commerce using any other platform. And the reason for that is because Klaviyo has a ton of integrations for e-commerce. These platforms have like 10% of the integrations. Now that means that Klaviyo can see all the sales, all the checkouts, everything you can see inside of Klaviyo. And you can get really granular, fantastic data for managing your campaigns that way. Promo codes, all this is pretty much rubbish. Transaction emails, you should never mix your transaction emails with your marketing emails. So just ignore that. You should have 2 separate systems if you're doing transaction emails. Forms and pop-ups, like I said, don't use any of their forms and pop-ups. Webinar, ignore. Push notifications, no one uses those. GetResponse chats, you shouldn't use an email marketing platform for web chats. Conversion funnels, no. Paid ads, no. SMS, no. And analytics. The analytics in most of these platforms is pretty terrible. Just use Google Analytics for that. The only analytics you really care about in these email platforms is open rate, click rate, and spam. That's it. You don't need to have any other analytics. Integrations, you can pretty much ignore all integrations as long as they have an API. That's all that I care about, because that means you can connect it to Make and you can then connect it to everything else. All these built-in integrations that they promote, no matter what system you're looking at, they're all pretty much rubbish. So you can do all that in Make for much easier. Okay, so we've settled here that it's 114 per month. I'm going to make sure that we're doing a like-for-like comparison. So we're always going to do a monthly plan comparison and always 10,000 contacts. So 114 for GetResponse. I'll go into the features of this platform later on. Let's have a look at Constant Contact. They kind of hide their pricing here. So we want to look at the tiered pricing. I'm going to look on the Lite plan and we want 10,000. So it's 180 per month for 10,000 contacts. Actually 120, I suppose, would be 10,000. So it's up to 10,000. That's on the Lite plan. Now the Lite plan generally on these systems doesn't give you anything. Drag and drop, yes. Reach and engagement reporting. A lot of this we don't need. Automation, automated welcome, yes. But here we need the path template and custom automation paths. So we don't even get custom. We have to be on this plan for custom automations. Wow. That's premium. So what is their pricing there? It's 275. So if you want to do any sort of serious automation in Constant Contact, you have to pay them 275 a month. Wow. Wow. I laugh because Constant Contact, they have a great affiliate program and I see them promoted all the time for YouTube videos. And I can see why, because if you're going to use them, you're going to have to pay $275 a month to do any sort of automation that you're going to want to do. Sure, you can send a welcome email, great, but you can only do that on the Lite, and you can't do anything else on the Lite. You have to have these custom automation paths to build your own custom automation. That's a custom trigger, custom goal, custom steps in between, which for instance would be you buy my course, there's a follow-up email sequence. I'd have to pay $275 to send you that. Oh, wow. Marketing CRM, just ignore that. If you want a CRM, use Pipedrive. I've got another video on comparing CRMs, but Pipedrive is my recommendation. Events, you can ignore that. You shouldn't do event tracking in email. SMS, social, ads, additional features. Yeah, so you can pretty much ignore all of that. And $275 a month, that is ridiculous. Wow. All right, MailChimp, let's look at this. Again, 10,000 contacts, 67 for 12 months. Now that's on, that looks like it's on some sort of plan. 135 is their monthly. Right, so they're giving you a 50% discount. See, this is how remember when I said earlier that they give you these sort of like discounts for joining and try to hook you in with a low price and they bump you up a year later or when you have more than 10,000 subscribers. This is an example of that. And MailChimp is great at doing these silly offers. But they also have a limit here of 120,000 emails per month. Now that would be 12 emails per contact. So that's pretty reasonable. That's one email every 3 days, let's say. I don't think you'll need any more than that, but 135 per month. Let's see what we get with this system. Standard was 135. They like to make their pricing table pretty difficult, MailChimp. Let's see. Reporting, great. Automated customer journeys. Up to 200 journey points. I wonder what a journey point is, customer journey. I don't think that's an automation. I think that's something else. AI features. Like I said, you can just use ChatGPT directly. A/B testing, great. Remove the branding, dynamic content. Now, dynamic content is something that we didn't see before, but essentially that allows you to change content within an email based on, say, a segment or a tag that user has. It's pretty good, although I would normally just segment the campaign or the automation rather than changing the content within an email, because it just gets too complex when you try to change content in an email. For instance, you might send an email out and you might want to have a line in that email saying, hey, upgrade to our paid course if they've purchased the free course but haven't purchased the paid course. But if they've purchased the paid course, you might want to change that line to say, hey, you can buy one-on-one coaching. And so you don't want to sell one-on-one coaching to someone that hasn't bought a course because they're most likely just to buy the course versus the coaching, for instance. But you don't want to resell the course to someone. So that would be where you'd use dynamic content. But I would really just send a separate email to each of those different user groups because the email content is going to change as well, not just the offer. So most of the time, I've really never used dynamic content, and I don't think most people do. The behavioral targeting, you can ignore that. Okay, so I've just looked up a bit of information about these journey point things that they're talking about. A journey is essentially an automation. It's MailChimp's fancy word for automation. And a journey point is a step in the automation. So that's an if-else step or a wait trigger or a time delay or sending an email. So if we go back to their pricing, on their standard plan, we can do up to 200 steps in an automation. Look, you're probably not going to use more than that. So for most automations, if you are, you're probably best breaking that into a separate automation. So that's pretty reasonable. But on the essentials plan, only 4 steps. That's very, very limited. That's trigger, wait, send email. That's 3 steps there. So you can't do anything in those automations. You can send 1 email, pretty much a non-automation. So you definitely need the standard plan here. I don't really see what you get for premium. You get unlimited users, unlimited audiences. This is interesting. 5 audiences. Wow. So audiences are segmentation. So you only get 5 segments in your entire email list. That is incredibly limiting. Wow. I can't believe they do that. That's crazy. So you pretty much need the premium plan. If you're serious doing any sort of automation in MailChimp, you're going to need this premium plan pretty quickly because of that segment limitation. Let's have a look. Unlimited seats, great. I'd say standard and premium are pretty close, but that 5 segment limit, that's a real stickler limit. You definitely need the premium plan fairly quickly. So 100, that's actually $350 a month. Wow. That is crazy expensive. You might be able to get away with this $135 a month plan for a little while, but as soon as you start doing some serious segmentation, so a segment would be like people have opted in but haven't got the free course. People have opted into the free course, that's 2 segments. People have bought the course, paid course, 3 segments. People that I've worked with, 4 segments, right? You can see very quickly you're going to use those 5 segments in a list. So you're going to use premium pretty quickly. And at $350 a month, that's hefty price for 10,000 users. Wow. All right, MailerLite. This is actually a bit of a cheaper platform, and it is one that I used to recommend, but I'll get to the one that I use and I recommend personally. Unlimited emails, that's great. Unlimited users, great. You could probably get away with actually the growing business plan. So 3 users, unlimited audiences, so that's great. So you're not limited here by segments, which was what our MailChimp was limited by. Drag and drop, yada, 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 all pretty standard. Automate our work, email automation builder. It doesn't say that there's any limitation there. Automation template. Well, a template we don't really care about. It's the actual steps in the automation. So 100 steps, that's more than enough. Multiple automation triggers. Yeah, that would be nice, but you don't really need that. Most of the time you only need 1 trigger. And then automation builder. Doesn't say that there's any limitation there, so that's great. Whereas Constant Contact had the limitation there. So you have to be careful where they put the limitation because it can bump you up to their higher plan pretty quickly depending on how you're using the service. So I would say you pretty much get away with this growing business plan. I don't think there's anything else that would push you over the edge here. Monthly, $73 monthly is what they're charging. Okay. Now let's look at our drip. And again, 10,000 contacts, 154 unlimited emails, up to 50 workflows. Now a workflow here would be an automation. That's not too bad, but it's pretty limited, 50 automations. Most businesses that I work with probably have around 50 automations. Most businesses you probably won't need to upgrade. Essentially, you can send emails and you can build up to 50 automations. I'd say that's pretty good, but you are paying $154 a month. At least you're not paying whatever it was, $275, $300 for the other ones. So it's definitely a lot cheaper there. And to be honest, all the automation builders, all the email builders, they're all exactly the same once you get in there. So it's pretty much a like-for-like comparison. Once you strip out all those bloat features that they harp on about and try to promote, they all just send emails and they allow you to build email automations. And the automation steps are pretty much all the exact same across all the platforms. Let's have a look at this one. ConvertKit, 10,000 users, paid monthly, $119 a month. Unlimited automations, that's good. Unlimited sequences, that's good. API access. You should get API access for pretty much every plan level. I don't think there's any that doesn't come with API in what we've looked at. And you definitely want API access because it allows you to connect it to something else in your business. So definitely need that. We'll just jump into the details here to see if they're going to catch us out with anything. That all looks fine. Subscriber tagging, segmentation, fine. Yeah, they don't have any limits on these sort of things, so that's good. All right, so $119 a month. That's actually pretty well priced. I'm not the greatest fan of how they actually build things with their automations, but that pricing, I'd get around that. And they don't have any limitations. I think that's pretty reasonable. Then you've got ActiveCampaign. Now, I used to recommend ActiveCampaign a lot, and then they started pushing their prices through the roof. And so I switched. Because asking people to pay these ridiculous prices is just crazy. So let's have a look at their plans. You can forget the starter plan. Segmentation is limited, so that's one thing. But 5 actions per automation, that's a big limitation. Again, that's trigger, wait, send email. 3 steps, wait, send email. You can have an automation with 5 steps in it. That's 2 emails in an automation. That's nothing. You can't even call that an automation. Multiple triggers is good, so they do have that on the starter plan. But you're going to need the plus plan. That comes with the email automation. Yes, forget about the SMS. Do that manually. campaigns, that comes with everything. You can forget all this AI nonsense that they talk about. You can just do that directly in ChatGPT. Gmail, Outlook, forget all that. Inbox preview and testing, look, $5 per month. You might as well not even bother with that. I've never used this anyway. Inbox preview, you can just send yourself an email and see how it looks. You don't need to pay for their inbox preview. Never use the CRM, absolutely terrible. Analytics, the analytics in ActiveCampaign are pretty terrible as well, so I wouldn't recommend that. Channels, yeah, don't use their multi-channel rubbish. Segmentation, okay. They don't have any limits on segmentation. They do have personalized fields, which is good. That's another thing that you might want to look at for these other platforms. It doesn't look like in their pricing they mentioned personalized fields. I know that they do, but a lot of them will probably have limits as to how many fields you can add. Most of the time, you shouldn't be using more than 50 fields anyway, custom fields, and all those systems will allow up to 50. Most of them will probably have a limit of around 100. All these integrations you can ignore. Custom domains, custom yada yada. Okay, so you should be on the Plus plan here. That comes with unlimited automations, unlimited steps, and doesn't have unlimited email sends. So you can send 10 emails per contact. That would be 1 per 3 days. So that's fine. This one user, I know ActiveCampaign push 2-factor, so that might limit you. And a lot of these other email platforms, they may have 2-factor, which if you're working with an email person who manages your email, well, then you may have to upgrade to these higher plans just to get that extra user. If you can share 2-factor or turn it off, which you can on some of these plans, but not all of them, then you might be able to get away with this Plus level. But they keep pushing and pushing for this 2-factor, and it's a real pain in the butt because you can't share user accounts anymore. And they're doing that because they're trying to push you up to these higher plans all the time. So 10 emails a month per contact, that's pretty reasonable. So $189 a month, that's kind of the starting price. You may go up to $375 a month if you need those extra users, which makes ActiveCampaign the most expensive platform. So $189 might need to go to Pro. Yeah, pretty pricey. Okay, so the average across all of these is sitting around $200 to $300 a month for a decent email marketing system that you're going to use. So the platform with the most automation functionality is definitely ActiveCampaign, but you do pay for it, $189 a month. This system, you can build anything you want. It's got so many modules for automations, so many steps and things that you can add to your automations. You can really build this and use it almost like Make. I don't recommend that for an email marketing platform, though. You're always going to hit limits pretty quickly if you try to do that. So again, just use it for email marketing. Don't get bored into all their modules and things, even though I've just told you that ActiveCampaign has the most. I don't use 90% of what they've got when I use ActiveCampaign because it's complete rubbish. You try to use it, you can use it for something very basic, but as soon as you want to do something custom, you can't use it. It's a joke. It's really, wow. It's just a waste of their marketing budget and their developers' time adding all that stuff in there. All right, so ActiveCampaign, I'd put that at the top still. It's still got the best automation builder that I've used. This one here, ConvertKit, I put that pretty close to ActiveCampaign, and you can see there's a pretty good pricing drop down there, $189 to $119, so pretty good step down. They're pretty much like for like when you're looking at the Plus versus the Creator. Then we've got Drip, $154. I put Drip and ConvertKit pretty much on the second tier of email marketing platforms. Then we've got Constant Contact. No, we needed the premium plan for custom automations. Sneaky, sneaky. $275 is their pricing. Then we've got MailChimp. Now MailChimp, so you need the premium plan for MailChimp. That's $350 a month once you get past their 50% discount. Which puts them pretty up there. MailChimp's very limited though, so you can't do a lot of automation. They try to dumb it down and, if you're going to pay $350 a month, pay for ActiveCampaign. Then you've got this one here. You need the 114 for GetResponse. Their automation is really clunky, really ugly to use. I don't recommend or like using that. MailerLite is actually quite a good system, and $73 a month. That's pretty well priced. Now, here's the one that I use personally and the one that I like, because it just does email. Just email. That's it. Doesn't have any bloat for any other rubbish. And I hope they just keep it just email, because it just makes the whole system so easy to use. Wow. And it's so cheap. $57 a month. Okay, so it's the cheapest, hands down, compared to ActiveCampaign, which was $189, ConvertKit, which is $119, $104, $275, $350, $115, $73. This is like a sixth of the price of some of these, a seventh of the price. And you can do everything that you want to do for your email marketing in this platform. That's just like, wow. Okay. So let's compare this. So we've got the standard plan here. If you do want the professional, you could go up to that if you wanted more emails. But this is 12 emails a month per contact. I've got this on 10,000 contacts. 12 emails a month. That's like one email every 2.5 days to your list. So that's pretty reasonable. Let's look at what we're limited by. We can do email campaigns. It's the one-off emails. We can do SMS. Their SMS system, again, I don't recommend using SMS in these platforms. Again, I don't recommend using transactional emails with your marketing. Don't ever mix the two. Email automation they have, great. There's no limits to automation. You can do automation splits. You can do custom triggers and actions. You can use some pre-built automations, great. They have the drag and drop editor, HTML plain text editor, fantastic. Personalization, custom fields. They have all that. Segmentation, unlimited segmentation, fantastic. They have forms. Like I said, don't use the forms on any of these platforms. They do have analytics, and what I like about their analytics is they haven't bloated it down with all the rubbish. It's like, wow, what a genius platform. You know, they just have open, click, spam. That's all I care about for email. I don't care about landing page analytics and funnel analytics and all that sort of rubbish that these other platforms try to shove in there. They do have heat maps, which most of these other platforms don't have heat maps on their email. It's like, wow, that's a no-brainer that we should have heat maps. Heat maps and clicks, great. Users, you get 3 users on the standard plan. That's fantastic. You do have 2-factor if you want that annoying thing. What I also love about Sender is they have a very generous free plan, up to 2,500 subscribers and 15,000 emails a month. So that's like 1 email every 2 days, and you get unlimited email features, etc. So if you're just getting started, Sender is a fantastic system, has a very generous free plan, and it's pretty much unlimited for what you're going to use. Once you get a bit of traction on your business, you're going to pay $57 a month for most businesses. Even if you scale that up to, say, you've got a really big list of 50,000, $227 a month is very reasonable. Scale up some of these other ones, and your heart will just fall out of your chest. 609. Let's scale this puppy up. 50 again. Okay, but I don't have 50. It's annoying. 379. This one. 700. What? Wow, where did that come from? That was pretty cheap, and then it went to 700 all of a sudden. Cheap as creepers. Let's see, this one here, another 600. This one, once we get to 50, 800. That makes it the most expensive. Holy moly. 50. This one here, that was actually scaled pretty lightly. 359. Is that what it is? Yeah, 359. Okay. I was expecting much more on that one. 50, 289, again, pretty reasonable. And then you got 227. So at 50, if you've got a big email list, and anyone that's got 50,000 contacts in the email list, you should be doing easily 50,000 a month in sales from that email list. Easily. You're paying 227 here. Some of these other platforms were 800. Wow. I mean, can you imagine paying almost $1,000 a month, 12,000 a year, just to send some emails? The profit margins in these platforms must be ginormous. Wow. Anyway, so this Sender platform, it's the one that I recommend. Don't fall into the trap of using any of these other platforms. Just go with Sender. It has email marketing. I'll do a full tutorial on how to use Sender. It has everything that you need to send email marketing emails. You don't need all the bells and whistles that all these other platforms have. You just don't need it. Bloats it down, makes the system look really hard to use, really confusing. 90% of those features you don't use. You're paying their developers to maintain and add all that bloat in there for you that you're not going to use. Just use Sender or another system that just does email marketing. That's it. And as long as it's got an API, you can connect it up to everything else. You can connect it up to a great landing page builder. You can connect it up to a great CRM. You're not locked into the crappy CRM, the crappy landing page builder other systems have. So Sender, highly recommend that. That's what I use for my own business. That's what I recommend you use for your business. I recommend that to absolutely everyone. The reason why these platforms are pushed so much is because they have fantastic affiliate programs. ActiveCampaign, I know it's around 30% lifetime. This one here, I think, is also 30% lifetime. Sender, by the way, is also a great affiliate program, but I like promoting them because they're so cheap. I mean, if I wanted to make money with my affiliates, I'd promote something like ActiveCampaign or MailChimp, where it's like, you pay $800 a month, I make 30%. If I get you on there, right, I make, what would that be? Almost $200 a month from one person that I've sent there. With Sender, I make, let's say 30% as well. I make maybe $70 a month, right? So that's why these platforms get promoted so heavily, because they're so lucrative. You know, when I was promoting ActiveCampaign, I'm still making commissions. I still make like a couple of $1,000 a month through ActiveCampaign commissions. And I haven't promoted ActiveCampaign for probably 3 or 4 years now because their pricing is just crazy. In fact, I've moved a lot of those people that I promoted to ActiveCampaign to Sender because it's just so much cheaper. And I've literally cut my affiliate commissions by maybe a third by doing that. But I prefer that you get good value from the system and that you're not just paying my affiliate fees for nothing. You know, you're not paying these exorbitant email marketing platform fees when you get the exact same thing over on Sender for like a third or a quarter of the price. Anyway, so that's my 5 cents about the pricing. Go to Sender. I'll do a full features comparison here later on for Sender and how to build out your email marketing platforms there as well.